Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of my Kenshi the General's Quest series. This time, we've already gained our new member Rain the Giant, who can apparently beat the crap out of bandits, and with their help, we are getting stronger as well. We begin this as Molly and Logan have woken up and are helping Circuit mine for more wealth. Because apparently we're freaking miners with how much we do this. Tomorrow we shall go hunting for these accursed bandits. Rain dreamed of nothing but combat, and when she awoke, she was disappointed, yet not surprised. Rain had been given the title the Giant after at birth being the largest child in her entire village. That was before the great stone golem ended up uniting all of the tribes. Since then, Rain has been a unit in many military forces. Most didn't suit her fancy, but she kept with them for the thrill of combat. She was disorganized, but brutally efficient. She eventually was kicked out of the military due to her own misgivings with them. Now that she's working with Circuit, she doesn't know what to think of the tiny tin man. But what is for certain is that there seems to be combat in this thing's future, and that's just what they're here to see. Seems to be no bandits in the valley today. Disappointing. Rain the Giant was horrible at laboring. But she was never bad at carrying large quantities of material. Circuit's becoming a naturally skilled laborer. Like, holy crap, dude. Calm your soul. Jesus. Due to his skills, bandits attacked all of a sudden, unexpectedly. This was just what Rain was looking for. Of course, it was a surprise that it came so soon. But pickers can't be. Rain took on two of them at once. Logan seemed to have been just taken out in the background. Rain hit 4 of them with one single sweeping strike. Rain was beaten down due to a disadvantageous place on the side of a rock. Logan was taking out Molly, still fought several of them on her own. She seemed to have become more skilled since their last combat. Circuit seemed to be down, though. Aw, oh, come the frick on. Really, Molly? I put you into sneak. Well, apparently they had not grown skilled enough. But it was an improvement from last time. Rain the Giant had apparently been pinned against a rock, and that was why she fell. But this was a learning experience, to be sure. Several of these bandits had lost their lives. Well, now that this had happened, Circuit was forced to drag them once more, one by one, back into town. Apparently, though, combat had broken out there as well. With what and with whom? Apparently, hungry bandits had attacked the town itself. The guards were barely injured by the time he got there. Circuit ran through them to place Rain in a bed upstairs. He wished to be like these people, being able to take on 20 enemies at once with only 3. But, as of now, they were not ready for that yet. And Circuit was not completely disappointed, just slightly saddened at the result. Wandering assassin passed by. Oh, come on, Molly. Put you in that bed for a reason. Logan was the last one to be carried back by Circuit. He was one of the most durable, though. At least in Circuit's eyes. His beliefs may have been misput, but he held by them. While they were sleeping, Circuit took the loot they had gained via the copper mining and sold it. He then went out to loot the bodies of the bandits which had been beaten by the guards. He wondered what would happen to these people if slavers passed by. Where they would go, where those slavers really come from, or the Northlands, the Southlands, or somewhere else. There are even crab people who sometimes take slaves. Of course, they don't really come out. They are more often than not just taken out before they can reach the mainlands to take slaves, but they are still a risk you must consider. Circuit thought to himself the most horrible thing he had ever witnessed, or at least in the eyes of most it would be horrible. He saw some of his own kind one time peeling off the skin of another. They would later be called skin bandits, but he disassociated himself with them immediately and left the premises. For even though he felt no disgust, per se, towards this activity, he thought it unjust to label oneself as another species entirely. It seemed illogical to him, especially when the process for which that was said required you peeling off the skin of that race and wearing it on yourself. But they were not his problem now, and they told him they would not attack his kind, which was comforting, even though we were both the same kind. It's strange. Strange beings with strange thoughts. But these thoughts would have to wait, as he needed to mine more to pay for what they had lost during this combat to the bandits. Circuit had been getting decent with a blunt weapon, something not commonly used by the more skillful opponents of the world, but he strove to be distinct. They would learn to fear his prowess with the rod. But as of now, it was not yet time for that. Someone had just spoken. Couldn't have a browse. Okay, he was just talking. And so circuits were continued throughout the night. Still, thankfully, he thought, they had not encountered dust bandits, which were a much more concerning lot than these blunt weapon wielding maniacs. They did not steal for food, they stole for money. And they had the skills to beat most new adventurers. There are some strong ones out there who can take out entire parties of them alone. More escaped servants passing by. Circuit thought to himself that he had seen someone with 3,000 cats at an outpost nearby. Nearby that Czech town. What was it called? Squin, yes. In the way station near Squin, he had encountered someone who did not ask for much for his services and could help produce more wealth for their faction. Perhaps he could even help manage the home if they would ever need one. It would be a journey, but a journey he'd be willing to take while the others rested. Hopefully they would be safe while he was gone. The buzzing of flies around the dead bodies continued. Ever-present sign of the fights that had happened in the day before. But with this, Circuit ran out to the way station through a massive dust storm. A random shinobi No, it wasn't a shinobi. It was someone much stronger. It was a tech hunter. A wanderer of the wastes looking for technology of ages long past. They had some far-off city at the top of one of this world's tallest mountains. Slavers. Apparently they had shown up. Circuit would never feel safe around them, for indiscriminately they would take slaves from those weaker than themselves, even if they were just innocent bystanders. Mattered not, for their economy ran on the slave trade, and they always needed more. Circuit might at some point free some slaves or buy some slaves to serve as warriors in the future, but he did not know if it was moral. If they ran away from him, he thought the best thing for morale would just be to let them go. I mean, at least that way they would have a chance at freedom, even though they had cost Circuit. I don't wear the sword for decoration. I don't even have a sword. What were Circuit thought to himself. What was the individual he was looking for? Was it a Greenlander? Was it even a hive? It could have been. It honestly not crossed his mind to check up on what he had been looking for, but whoever it was, they were cheap, and they would be very helpful in their endeavors. Or so he hoped. He thought to himself, what would he do? First, once his army was formed. His real army, his huge army. Would he attack the Holy Nation to prove himself a glorious conqueror? Would he strike out smaller names from the history books? He surmised that first, if he gained a substantial force, he would fight the Dust King. That might not even require an entire army. Maybe just a detachment. A really good detachment, but just a detachment nonetheless. Anywho, he reached the gates of the way station. As he entered the bar, he searched around, looking for this individual. There were several who could fit the bill. There's a Greenlander. But something caught his eye. There was a Shek print. Not Shek, a hive prince. Strange lot to see down here. Even stranger for them to want to talk. The person he'd been looking for, though, wished to be a laborer. It could not be this one. Could it? He walked over and talked to this hive. However, apparently he was the one who had charged for 3,000. Though Circuit did not know if he wanted this specific individual in his party. Well, they would have to suffice. They were cheap. They would be worked. He was bad with laboring, but he would still have to go through with it. His name was Birmingham. Strange name, but an acceptable one at least. Circuit needed to buy food. Oh, guards passed by in a hurry. Circuit was unsure of why, but he paid them no mind. He bought an entire meat wrap for Birmingham, who seemed incredibly hungry. Birmingham ate the entire thing and thanked him. This surprised Circuit immensely, but should not have been expected to make it the way home. Circuit surmised that because Birmingham was a light sword, he would carry him back. Actually, no.